everyone, how are you doing? We are here again to continue talking about the lesson 10. This time, the fourth topic with the title Danger Lurking. The first question: how had a seemingly small sin crept into David's life, paving the way for worse temptations? We can see here that before way longer he was a king, he had a lot of wives, and that became an issue for him later on as he became the king. We can read about it here at spiritual gifts. We can see that he often conquered and triumphed. He increased in wealth and greatness. But his prosperity had an influence to lead him from God. His temptations were many and strong. He finally fell into the common practice of other kings around him, of having a plurality of wives, and his life was embittered by the evil results of polygamy. That, as we can read, was a common practice among other nations, and other kings thought it was really positive to have many wives, and it was like when a person is super rich and they have a lot of money, for people during that time have a lot of wives, show it that that man could provide for all of them, and it was a sense of pride for many people. And David had this issue. He had some wives, and we can read a little bit about them at the Bible and during the past lessons we already studied. But it became a huge problem for him because, well, later he needed a successor, and when we know his story, we know that there were many issues because of his choice of life and his way of dealing with his relationships and his wives. And yeah, it didn't end up well, so it is considered a simple sin, because sometimes people want to classify sins as some of them are really small, some of them are medium size, and others are an abomination. Actually, God has sins that he calls abominations, but humans want to do that based in their own judgment, and that's really wrong and can bring a lot of problems, and like happened with David. And it's something that we need to avoid. Since we are talking about secrets of success, we need to get distant from the sin. We need to be far away from sin. You can't consider sins as a small one, so people can do it, or I can do it, and do those difference, because in the end of the day, a sin is a sin, and we need to get distant from it. The second question B: what unsinful was stopped? It's obvious. The question B says as it follows: what unsinful was stalking David, just as with each one of us, and what is our only defense? The answer is really obvious. The enemy foe that was stalking David was Satan, and we aren't much different. Satan is lurking around everyone and each one of us, and because he knows our weaknesses, and he wants to explore that so we can fail. But we have a defense, and fortunately for us, we can pray to God, and we can ask him for his guidance and for his protection towards us. And we can also see about that in patriarchs and prophets, that in the midst of prosperity lurked danger. In the time of his greatest outward triumph, David was in the greatest peril. And we continue to read, and we see how in every soul two powers are struggling earnestly for the victory. Unbelief marshals its forces, led by Satan, to cut us off from the source of our strength. Faith marshals its forces, led by Christ, the author and finisher of our faith. Hour by hour, in the sight of the heavenly universe, the conflict goes forward. This is a hand-to-hand fight, and the great question is, which shall obtain the mastery? This question each must decide for himself. In this warfare, all must take a part, fighting on one side or the other. From the conflict, there is no release. We are urged to prepare for this conflict. So yeah, we are talking again about the secrets of success. So for this topic, which secret can we learn today? Reading this topic, we need to be aware about the dangers we face as people, about sin, and how we need to be distant from it. But we also need to be aware that we have a solution, we have a defense, and this defense is prayer, this defense is Christ. I hope that in our lives we can apply that, and I hope that God may bless your day, bless your evening. And tomorrow we will talk more about one more point related with the secrets of success, applied into David's life, and that can also be applied into our lives.